Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool drew 0-0 at Southampton on Saturday, and in this week's Talking Point video I'm going to be covering all the reaction to that, plus the topic of Daniel Sturridge and what the future holds for him at, or indeed away, from Liverpool. So the game against Southampton was a frustrating one, and while we're all disappointed with the result, as Jurgen Klopp pointed out, there were plenty of positives to take away from the performance, and 9 times out of 10 that's the kind of game where Liverpool will stick away those chances and we come away calling that the perfect away performance instead of a frustrating point. And with the fixture list being what it is in the run up to Christmas, with Chelsea playing Tottenham next weekend and then Manchester City the weekend after, I think there's no cause for concern in terms of Liverpool's title challenge, as they will probably look to pick up more points than their rivals in the coming weeks. For me, the standout performers at St Mary's were Dejan Lovren and Joel Matip. As Alan Shearer and other pundits have said in the past, Liverpool's defence is mainly a concern when their strikers are having an off day, and if when our strikers aren't putting the goals away, they're still letting them in at the back, then that will be a problem for Liverpool's title challenge. But they showed that when Liverpool was struggling up front, they were solid at the back. Dejan Lovren coped well with the reception from the Southampton fans, and Joel Matip continued to prove why he is probably one of the shrewdest signings in Premier League history so far. So one thing a lot of people did point out at the weekend was the fact that despite the air miles clocked up by Liverpool's front three, Felipe Coutinho in particular playing both games for Brazil and also picking up what was reported to be a small knock before the game, all 3 of them played, and Daniel Sturridge was again left out, despite the fact that a lot of people, including everyone who voted in the poll on Twitter, thinking that he would actually come in for one of those players at the weekend. As a result of this, a lot of people have been talking about a potential January move away for Daniel Sturridge, saying that he should leave to get first team football and that he doesn't suit Liverpool's style. So this week I'm going to look at what the future does hold for Daniel Sturridge and whether there is still a place for him at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. So the reasons for Daniel Sturridge's absence from the starting lineup and why many people think that he should move away from the club are fairly obvious. The attacking 3 that we've got of Mane, Coutinho and Firmino all have a particular fluidity that requires all of them to play together, and it's shown so far that this season that if one of them is missing out, particularly Mane against Burnley, then the whole balance is thrown and none of those players play as well as they do when they're all together. In addition to this, Sturridge has shown last season in the 13-14 season and also in the game against Tottenham in the EFL Cup this season that he plays best with a strike partner. At the moment, that strike partner would be most likely to be Origi, but the problem with that is that Liverpool play best in a 4-3-3 formation, and changing that setup for the league and not just the EFL Cup just to suit him as the one player just isn't the kind of thing that Jurgen Klopp would look to do, especially with the team performing so well as they are now. And finally, as last season showed, Origi is sort of seen as the long-term centre-forward option for Jurgen Klopp, meaning that Daniel Sturridge is either going to face a spell on the sidelines or will have to move away from the club in search of probable first-team football. Last season, Sturridge was on the bench a lot, and Origi's a lot younger than Sturridge, which means there's a lot of room for improvement, and he also fits the system slightly better in terms of energy and hard running. But it's not all doom and gloom for Daniel Sturridge. He's not going to spend every game on the bench, particularly with EFL Cup fixtures like the Leeds game coming up and also the natural fixture congestion that comes with the Christmas period. He's definitely going to get games, whether that is from the bench or in the starting 11 for Liverpool, and I don't think he's going to be frozen out completely this year or in the years to come, should he stay here. Also, the fact that when he doesn't start, he makes a lot of appearances off the bench, often coming on before Divock Origi, shows that Klopp does rate him and sees him as an effective plan B. Even if he's not part of the main tactical setup, Klopp likes to bring him on because of his finishing talent if the team are struggling in a game such as they were against Southampton. And finally, I think the opinion that he doesn't fit Jurgen Klopp's system and that he's a lazy footballer who likes the ball to come to him rather than to chase it is slightly unfounded, and he showed in games like the Leicester game at home where he led the line, the game against Tottenham where he's partnered with Divock Origi, and also a substitute appearance at Watford, that he does have the energy and that on some days he has fitted into the gegenpress system, obviously on others he hasn't, and he's a little bit inconsistent in it, but given time he could learn to adapt to the way that Klopp wants the team to play, and that could make him a much more vital part to the team than he is now. So personally, I do think Daniel Sturridge has a future at Liverpool. I don't think there's any need for us to sell him because we're not financially struggling like we were when we had to sell Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid for money. And if we do sell him, it's just going to give one of our rivals an advantage by giving them a world-class finisher up front. So that's all for this week's video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter. I'll be leaving a poll on there for you to let me know your thoughts on whether Daniel Sturridge should stay at Liverpool or move away. And on Friday, I'll be back covering the build-up to Liverpool's game against Sunderland at home. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.